All right, Cubs fam, it is that time of the month where we talk about Zetas. We have got 5 epic Zetas for you guys to discuss today that you may not have upgraded yet, that you need to have upgraded in your roster. And we got a special guest here to talk to us about it today. His name is the Star Wars guy. Go ahead and punch it, Chewie. Star Wars guy back for another video. How you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me back, Cubs. Appreciate it.
Dude, I'm so glad to have you. Star Wars guy him and I have been talking a lot lately, talking a lot about content, about music and stuff, and you guys need to check this guy out. Get over to his channel. There is a link down below in the description. I really love your guides in particular that you have made. I think are super helpful for this game, and I think a lot of people are missing out on that great content. So thanks for all you do, dude.
Absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet. And so you are a day one player just like me. We're going to talk about Zetas that you guys need upgraded in this game that you guys may not have thought about upgrading yet. So let's get started here. Number 1 is Yoda's Leadership Zeta. Now, thanks to Arnold, we're finding out just how valuable this Zeta can be here. Check this out. Plus 5% tenacity, plus 5% turn meter gain. Whenever a Jedi ally resists a debuff, they gain crit chance up, crit damage up for 2 turns. Whenever a Jedi ally suffers a debuff, they gain tenacity up for 1 turn at the end of the turn. And Grandmaster Yoda is immune to shock. This is a very good Zeta that really wasn't being used. I think probably the biggest reason is because we just don't have enough Jedi. But now we're starting to see more and more people using Ki-Adi-Mundi in the game, and we're starting to find a place for that Leadership Zeta.
That's what I was going to say as well. There's certainly a lot going on there. If I recall, this has been a long time ago. Zetas were not always in the game, right? It was just Omegas at one time, correct?
Yep.
So then it would have been before Zetas, I think. I remember people were using Yoda lead. I definitely saw him in my arena shard for sure. Way back when. I mean, that's got to be like early, mid 2016.
So I think now you might be thinking of a different time of the game than I am, but I used Yoda lead shortly after they reworked him. They gave him a Zeta on his leadership, and he was instantly viable and able to beat Traya teams. What it was.
Definitely before that is what I'm thinking of. But yeah,
you're thinking way before that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So there was a point in time when he was very useful, but then we just had Jedi Revan come shortly after that, and even Bastila kind of came and outshined Yoda, I think, shortly after that, and then we didn't really see him use as much, and so we're starting to see that now, so it's really great to see. All right, next up, Newt Gunray. If you do not have Newt's let's see, it's his unique, right? Whenever a Separatist ally inflicts a debuff, they also deal 5% max health damage to that enemy, which can't be evaded. If you have not done this Zeta yet, guys, this is a Grand Arena clutch Zeta for so many different teams. And what I love about it is it's his unique Zeta. He doesn't have to be in the leadership spot, and he has so many different teams this works with, and that percentage health damage does so much against so many characters. Unless you have, people obviously bringing in their Malik here, that's going to be very, very detrimental if you don't manage it right.
Newt's one of the, and it's funny to me that this plays into his character from canon. He's one of the sneakiest characters in the game. He pops up in a lot of places you don't expect, and he ruins you when you're not ready for it. And it's just like, he's easy to underestimate, and he will get you if you're not paying attention, man.
You got to pay your taxes, right? Do you pay your taxes?
I do, actually, and I got that from you.
Every time it pops up, I'm like, we gotta pay our taxes. I had one match where I ignored it. I was like, we can get through it fast enough. And all of a sudden, everybody was just 100% dead.
Yeah, and then he gets if he's in the lead slot, he gets all those boosts from that as well. It's just like, it's a nightmare.
Yep. If you don't have Nuke, if you don't have Duke Nukem Zeta, no, we're not talking about Candace here. If you don't have Newt Zeta, make sure you get that. That is going to be a very, very good Zeta for Grand Arena. And in particular, I know we don't talk enough about the newer players to the game. If you are a newer player to the game, this is a great Zeta to have early on, especially in those Grand Arena matches when people are newish to the game. They don't have as much to deal with this. In the end game, I think it's kind of a given Zeta, but especially if you're mid-game, early game, this is going to be a great choice. All right, Veers. Now, we were talking about troopers, and if you do not have aggressive, tactician, Zeta yet. This is one of the best Zetas that really gets those troopers humming. Recover 10% protection whenever an enemy is defeated, and 20% offense, 20% offense up chance, and 60% turn meter gain chance. That's huge, man.
Yeah, those troopers are just going to keep rolling, and that's kind of the whole point of that entire faction, in my experience.
Yeah. Do you have your troopers upgraded?
I do now because I'm working on some of them because I'm working on Sith Eternal Emperor.
Oh, I'm so
kind of came
jealous.
as a byproduct of that. So I'm actually having a lot of fun with getting to know them because up until very recently, I'd never messed with troopers. I've seen a lot of other people do it with great success. And again, another team that'll kind of sneak up on you, but they get that offense rolling, they get that turn meter rolling, and it's over way faster than you think it'll be.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know where I get I get caught, I should say, with troopers is in Grand Arena. I actually saw this with I've seen it in my history before, but especially I had a Grand Arena recently against his name is Whatever, another content creator for this game, and he whipped out his troopers out of nowhere and just blasted through one of my best teams. I was like, oh man, that hurts to see troopers beat that. And I'm getting some grief in the chat for my mods on my Veers. I never use him because he's only gear 11. All right, here we go. Next up, we got Grand Moff Tarkin. Grand Moff Tarkin, and for him, it is his. Let's see here. Which one was it? Was it his? Not his unique. We're talking about his leadership.
We're talking his leadership.
Yeah. +2 speed and also inflict expose for 2 turns on enemies that fall below 100% health during Empire allies' turns. And this Zeta plays a big role. We recently saw in an Arnold video in defeating Darth Revan teams. If you can use a Tarkin to beat Darth Revan, what a valuable counter that is.
Absolutely. Another old character, an OG character. Coming back. I love how this game kind of goes in waves, Characters will be great and then they'll suck and then they'll somehow be great again. And it's like I love watching that happen. And this is a brilliant example of that. Plus that speed boost, nothing to laugh at. 30 speed when it's finally all Zetaed out.
A 30 speed is great, right? And I love that you mentioned the ebb and flow of some of these characters and, increased value, and they kind of come down and then more increased value. We've seen that a lot with let's see here, with CLS, with the CLS team. Sometimes we've seen it be great, and then it's just okay, and then we got 3 Baka, and it's like, oh my gosh, these guys are so good, and they do so well with relics. It can almost be anything in the game. So anyway, just really great stuff.
And not even talking about reworks, because that's a whole other thing. But sometimes, like for example, 3 Baka, when he comes to the game, it brought CLS back to the forefront. Other characters can be introduced that affect characters you might not even think about at first in big ways. So I think we're seeing that here with Tarkin as well.
Great observation. All right, last up on the list, we got the Armorer. Now, there's a couple different places you can go. Well, actually, no, these are Omegas. Only one Zeta. Earn your signet. This is you can't always rely on the text. Something I look at with Zetas a lot of times is the more text there is, they tend to feel better, right? This is a very simple addition, but it makes a huge difference. 3 stacks equals grants 100% counter chance. Now, the place that a lot of people are using I just spoiled it. The place that people are using the armor a lot is with Sith Eternal, the character you're working on right now. And now imagine you get that fine Beskar armor, the finest Beskar armor that you can possibly get on Sith Eternal. All of the counter chance that he gains because of that turns him into an absolute wrecking ball.
Yeah. He's already posed for a lot of offense anyway, so
yeah,
getting extra hits with that is only going to help you. So I think that's a really interesting pairing there. You would not. I guess that's probably theory crafting at its finest there, I would say.
Yeah.
Because you would, at least I wouldn't immediately put those two together.
Yeah, and it's really what kind of elevated Sith Eternal from a pretty mediocre GL to.
I'm
really
waiting for it, man, because I'm sure you recall when Rey and Supreme Leader Kylo were announced, everyone was going on about how much better Rey was than Kylo.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. I was like, there's going to be some sort of change. Sure enough, they came out and buffed him, and now he's all the rage. And same thing with JML and C. there was a pretty obvious difference there.
Yeah.
So I'm still waiting. There's going to be something coming that's going to make it different. That might be the armor. That might be something they actually rework or change. But we'll see.
And you know what I love about the armor with Sith Eternal in particular is you can get away with this without having great gear on the armor. I mean, if you can get her up to gear 11, 3-4 stars, she's going to be fine. It's just a matter of getting that Beskar out there. Beskar armor is the finest in the galaxy, and we're really seeing that effect in so many different teams, and not just with Sith Eternal. We seen Clash showed us a video of a 3-man team, which, by the way, Clash leaving Galaxy of Heroes, much respect to him. Really going to miss him. But he showed a video of a 3-man team against SOKR with Beskar armor being a big part of that. And that counter chance makes a big difference, makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And more importantly than all this, I like to imagine him putting, armor plates on his robe and just kind of getting jacked. Ready to go.
So we have Gucci Palp. What are we calling this? Gucci Beskar Palp? Like what's the upgrade?
It's armor Palp. Beskar Palp. There you go.
Beskar Palp. Oh man, guys, it's so great having you for the video, Star Wars guy. Always great having you on the channel. It's our second video. I hope we do many more. It's really fun working with you. Anything before we get out of here, guys? I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. What Zetas are your sleeper picks for the month of February 2021? And let's see here, Star Wars guy, anything you want to say before we end the video? Anything you want to say to the Cubs fam?
No, just thank you so much for having me. I'm always happy to be here. Hopefully I'll be back soon. And thank you guys so much for watching.
All right. Love you, fam. We're getting out of here. And as always, my brothers, don't forget,